Hello, St. Maarten, and welcome to the Integrity Chamber's new video series, Civic Participation in the Democratic System. In this video, we will be discussing the democratic system of St. Maarten. With me today is the current President of Parliament and the first Prime Minister of St. Maarten, who was instrumental and a part of the transition from island territory to country, the Honorable Member of Parliament, Sarah Wescot-Williams. MP Wescot-Williams, welcome.
Thank you. And it's great to be on this program of the series of the Integrity Chamber. Thank you for the opportunity.
Wonderful. So let's get right down into it, MP. How would you describe St. Maarten's democratic system?
The transition to the system that we have today was quite a big one. We often talk about 10-10-10, so the 10th of October 2010, but not many persons, especially the younger population, do not realize what went on before that and how we came to the system that we operate in today. So as per the 10th of October 2010, by the way, based on a referendum of the year 2000, so it took us 10 years after the people of St. Maarten spoke in terms of what constitutional status they wanted. We achieved it in 2010. One of the basic things, we needed to have a constitution in order to assume our new status. But in that constitution, the democratic system of St. Maarten is outlined. And that is that we have the so-called trias politica, consisting of the executive branch, the ministers, so our council of ministers, the legislative branch, the Parliament of St. Maarten, and counted into that system is also the judicial branch.
So thank you so much for that breakdown on the shift and how our democratic system has changed. And so can we take it then from the perspective of the citizen? What is the role of the citizen in a democratic system?
Thus, our democratic system is to elect persons who can represent the citizens. Right. That's where our elections for members of parliament come into play. However, that's the beginning of it. That's the beginning of the participation that citizens have in the democratic process by electing persons to represent you. Firstly, within our system, there are several agencies, let me call it that ensures that the people's voices are heard in the process. In addition to that, the representatives of the people, so the members of parliament, are to hold the government, which is appointed, the ministers which are appointed, accountable. So that relationship between the citizen and the members of parliament should also continue after the persons have been elected. And then we have as our basis a constitution that explains not only the rights of the citizens, but also the obligation of the citizens towards the growth of our country. So you start with electing your representatives, but citizens should continue to be part of the process that leads to the growth of St. Maarten.
So now I'm going to ask you, what is the role of the legislative branch? What is the role of parliament in this democratic system?
The parliament is a co-legislator. So it's not only the parliament alone to make sure that a law comes into effect. Yes, there are a couple of ways that a law can be handled by parliament. Firstly, and that is in the majority of cases, it is the government, because of the huge apparatus of government, that would initiate laws. The other 5%, give or take, could be via an initiative law. That could come from one or more members of parliament. However, when the law is handled, so we go through a specific procedure for handling of a law. It's not a normal procedure of we get a meeting going, and you have a debate. No, a law needs to follow a procedure of firstly being vetted by the Council of Advice. The Council of Advice looks at every draft law And then whether the law came from a member of parliament as an initiative law, or it came from the government to be handled by parliament, it must pass through the Council of Advice. And then once you get a handling in parliament via, firstly, a central committee meeting, it has to go through there, and then a public meeting, and that is where decisions are taken.
Okay.
And laws are approved or disapproved of. But the important part, and tying into the question, is that unless that law is thereafter not ratified by government, you don't have a law. You don't have a law. So that is why I stressed on co-legislator, because there's no way the parliament can get a law go into effect unless the government ratifies it. And that's why, notwithstanding our system, it still is that you need that collaboration between the legislative branch and the executive branch.
Right. I think that is very important for the people to be aware of. And so we have our last question, and it is, why is civic participation important to you?
It is important because I want to make sure that using the channels that exist for my voice to be heard, and that is not only by voting for a representative or for representatives, but also staying in tune and involved with matters that pertain to the development of our country. Writing to your members of parliament, using the different checks and balances that exist in our system to the advantage of the citizens. There's also the responsibility of citizens to make sure that, they are part of our community in terms of what they see, in terms of how they can assist. And that too is a responsibility of our citizens.
Right. So before we close this video segment, is there anything that you would like to add?
So I just want to encourage, of course, the Integrity Chamber to continue with these type of informative program and encourage the citizens to not only look and take in the programs, but also to act on the things that they hopefully will learn from these type of informative sessions.
MP Wescot-Williams, we thank you so much for your time. We thank you so much for your valuable contributions to not only this topic, but to our country.
Thank you
as
so
well.
much.
And to our viewers, we thank you for watching. Stay tuned for the following video in our series, Civic Participation and the Democratic System.